Good morning, everybody. Got ourselves a little bit of a problem here. We're gonna figure out what's going on. Well, got coolant everywhere. Great, now I get to clean that up. And it looks like it's dripping right there. I think I know what happened. I just had the coolant reservoir replaced, and it looks like the clamp missed the housing. Let me go grab some food. Alright, so you guys just watched me do the best I could to clean this up. It's not going to be perfect, but I get a regular engine wash anyway, so I'll just have them focus on this with pressure washers next time I go into the beacon. I think that's sorted now. So, find a spot to put this here so you guys can see what's going on. The housing ends right there. Mechanic put the clamp there, and it was leaking there. So I think that's gonna actually, housing is back here. Now we'll have to watch it and see what happens. So, now, I just run this a little bit. See if it continues to leak. And we'll go from there. That's about all I can do right now. Until I run it. And when I did my pre-trip this morning, it wasn't leaking. It wasn't until I got onto the highway and got some pressure in the system that it started leaking. So, either that hose clamp is a little loose, which is a possibility, or it was in the wrong spot. So, I'm going to get this all cleaned up and we'll hit the road. What you just saw is a prime example of why I have said time and time again, every driver needs to have a basic understanding of the mechanical aspects of the truck. Little things like that turn into big things very quickly. It took 10 minutes to fix. Hopefully. We'll just keep an eye on it. But it's a hose clamp. It's easy. I'm not going to tie myself up in a shop for 3 hours to fix that. The same goes for the air system or any other part of the truck. Basic mechanics. And you need to be equipped to handle it. Basic socket set. Screwdriver. Pliers. Channel locks. You can take care of it. Now, I'm not saying you need to be able to change a brake chamber on the side of the road, although I've met plenty of guys who do that too. There are some safety precautions you need to take with something like that, but you can do it. All you need's the tools. As an owner-operator, it's even more imperative because I'm not going to tie myself up in the shop for 3 hours paying $300 an hour for that. No. Now, am I going to be charged 3 hours? No. They'll probably charge me 30 minutes. But it's still going to cost me the better part of $200 for a 10-minute fix. Take care of it yourself. Alright. I'm going to hit the road, get the GoPro batteries charged, and I'll see you in a bit. Alright. So I did not fix the coolant problem. That was full. So I am losing coolant. Enough spare. Remember this morning, I cleaned everything up. It's still a mess. We're stopped for the day. So now I get to figure out what's going on. Thing I'm noticing is it's not necessarily leaking from down here like it was before, but it's still coming from this general vicinity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up the truck, turn the wheels so I can get in here, see if we can figure out what's going on. Alright, this part's going to be a little noisy because I got the truck in high idle.
I refilled the coolant reservoir because I got to trace coolant lines to figure out where this thing's leaking. First thing I'm noticing is coolant under here. Judging from all the signs, it's clearly hitting the fan and spraying up. And it seems to be localized on the passenger side. That hose isn't leaking. You also got to look at all these coolant lines back here. Was that reservoir cools your air compressor and a whole bunch of other stuff back here. But I'm not seeing anything on this side, so it's got to be localized to the passenger side. There's that pool of coolant I was talking about. Let me shut the truck down and see if we can get a little bit better look here. That thing goes. Put up the nostril top and have the wind in my face. Hi, Pooch. It's not what I had planned for today. So, turbo, and there's the exhaust. It's obviously spraying right here. And it's getting everywhere. It's all up in here. Air conditioner. This is your air dryer. Looking to see if it might be a water pump. I hope not. Am I seeing wet back there on that pulley? That's what it looks like. Clearly not leaking from here anymore. So I fixed a leak. Try and shorten you guys up here so I can get in here. Is it leaking from the reservoir itself? This would be the overflow.
Man, if the reservoir itself is leaking, I'm gonna be kind of irritated. Because that's $700 that I just dropped. But it's hard to tell if it's leaking here and dropping down under the fan and just spraying this area. Because I'm not seeing anything else. There was a leak here this morning. It was leaking here. It's not leaking there anymore. But everything's focusing right in here. Which almost makes it seem like it's the overflow? Because there's some spattering up here. Give me just a minute. Let's change perspective. So radiator. This would be the top end of the radiator coming back into the coolant reservoir. Nothing leaking there, but there is very clearly stuff here. I think that hose is shot. Really don't want to have to do any more mechanical on this than I have to. But I'm not seeing any leaks on that hose, which is good. Not seeing anything there other than just back spray. The only thing that's lining up, that hose, doesn't look too healthy. And it would seem, yeah, there's a leak there. Hang on a minute. It's definitely wet under there. All right. Well, is there anything else I'm missing here? This looks like it's bubbled too. Let me go make a couple phone calls. Damn, Warner, you're that lazy? Just creatively park, will you? I understand having to take your dog out, but there's plenty of parking here. Just pull it into a spot. Criminally. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. I have spare coolant. It's not a bad leak. It just looks atrocious. Some of the people I need to be able to reach out to won't be available until Monday morning. So, what I'm going to do is, this load's due Monday morning. I'm going to run it as it is. Get this load delivered. And then work things out with
my dispatch and various other departments that need to be involved so I can get this sorted out. That way I'm not costing myself money, and I know that everybody I need to reach out to is available. And we'll find out where my coolant sits in the morning. I might have to buy another gallon of coolant. Hopefully not. Now, clearly I'm being a little more informal on this part. I'm shutting down for the day. But you might be asking yourself, for a guy that preaches pre-trip, why am I willing to sit here with a coolant leak and run it till Monday? Isn't that a violation of regulations? No, it's not. The only regulation that would fall under, that I know of, is 393.7, which specifically points at unsafe operations. And when it comes to coolant leaks, the only time that it would be considered an out of service is if it's dripping on the ground or clearly flowing. You guys have already seen what's going on. It looks like it's coming out of the top hose into the overflow and dropping down onto the fan and spraying over that one side of the motor. It's not reaching the ground. It's burning, yeah. I smell a sweet smell, but it's not dripping on the ground. And it's certainly not flowing from any hoses. And I have video proof of that. That's why it's not a violation. That's why I'm willing to limp it until Monday. I don't like it. And if I have the opportunity tomorrow when I'm driving, I'll stop at a Love's and see if there's a mechanic on duty and see if they can do anything. It might very well fall under warranty because I just had the reservoir replaced. But at the present moment, I don't have anybody available. I'm not paying for a road call. Not on that. So, that's why it's not a violation. Would it get an officer's attention? Yeah. If an officer decided to do an inspection, I can point to everything. I can show what I've done. And I may very well wind up with a warning. But it's not dripping on the ground, and it's not causing a safety hazard. So it's not an out of service.